Hello there. What's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be doing an impossible Armada build. Now, what is a impossible Armada build? Well, I'll tell you, it's basically a build that I didn't think I'd ever really be able to do. And now that Clone Wars is coming out, and with it, the upgrade card collection, maybe it's a build that actually is possible now, or at least monetarily possible, because everything is possible if you buy 20 of each ship and have every upgrade possible, but certain upgrades are really hard to find. So I wanted to kind of put together like a dream team kind of build that I couldn't really afford to before. So hopefully some of you guys kind of catch the vibe that I'm going with here, which will quickly become apparent. Also, if you guys are new here, there's still time left to enter to win the giveaway for the $25 Amazon gift card. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Also, there's plenty of really good links down in the description. If you want to click see more under this video, you'll be able to find out Ryan Kingston's fleet builder. That's the fleet builder that I'm going to be using today. I'll put a link to this builder down there. Instead of posting in the questions, what fleet builder are you using? Just click the description below the video. But there's also links for the merch shop. We've got lots of really cool like neck gaiters and masks and shirts and all kinds of hello there shirts. There's new stuff being added all the time. Some really cool things that I want to talk about very soon. So there's a lot of really cool stuff showing up down there. And also links to Patreon if you want to support the channel in that way as well, or social media or Discord. You can check out all of that in the description. So be sure to check that stuff out. Let's go ahead and start talking about this build. So I'm going to be doing a Rebel build today. And a little bit of this build's kind of inspired by the first time I saw the trailer for Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. We saw those Resistance bombers, and I wasn't sure exactly what kind of craft they were or how big they were, but it made me think of Armada, like a big blockade. And I always wanted to put a big blockade out there. And I kind of want to use Hammerheads for this. I think Hammerhead makes a good type of ship that you can kind of field en masse. Because you get, hey, 2 of them in one expansion, so you already have probably at least 2. And, I was thinking, like, wouldn't it be cool to get a whole bunch of these and outfit them all with certain upgrades? And the cool thing about that is you're not going to forget your upgrades if you're running a whole bunch of ships with the same upgrade. And then the other thing is they actually have some, they're kind of glass cannon-ish. Like all of their firepower pretty much is in the front arc. And they're cheap, and so like you're really kind of maximizing your weaknesses and maximizing your strengths, and if used really, really well, this could totally work out very, very well. And so because they have that strong front arc, I wanted to give spinal armament to a Hammerhead, and and that's kind of putting, now I've got 4 dice in the front arc. And hey, man, that's really cool. There's certain ways you can optimize it even further, like putting disposable capacitors on there, which I'm not sure is really worth it because you're just getting that one more die, and it's not, it's okay. It's an idea, but it doesn't kind of fit with what I'm going here because I want to make a firing line of these guys, and to really maximize that front arc with spinal armament even more, we're gonna put gunnery team on here, and that's going to let us shoot twice out of that front arc. So it's a really, really nice front arc shot, and having a lot of these kind of overlap, almost making like a phalanx of overlapping fire. I know phalanx is usually like when shields are like lined up together, but it's like, I don't know what the opposite of a phalanx that goes out. We'll call it a spinal armament lanx. Spinal armament lanx. No, don't hashtag that. That's ridiculous. We need a better word than that. But basically, yeah, that's kind of what we're throwing out, right? We're taking the shield and throwing it out there. So this is I like this. I've always liked this, and the problem always has been, for me, spinal armament is only available in the Liberty. And while the Liberty's a fine ship, mighty fine, I should say, I bought 2 of them. Oh, it's a mighty fine ship. I'm not gonna buy like 8 of them, right? So I'm not gonna be able to run 8 of these. I'm not going to run 8 of them in this build either. Spoiler warning. But that is definitely a limiter, because effectively it's like a $50 upgrade card. And so now in the upgrade pack, you're going to get every card in the game, and presumably 2 of a lot of cards at least. Some perhaps more than 2. So I'm guessing you'll probably get at least 2 Spinal Armaments in the upgrade card pack. Hopefully Spinal Armament is one of those ones that maybe you get more than 2 of, but maybe not. So we're not done with this particular ship, because I also want to put Task Force Organa on here. Task Force Organa gives you some rerolls, which is super, super nice. And it actually works well. I've tried to run these before with Leia as a commander. Now, Leia's going down in price significantly, so if you ran Leia as your commander, and you had a couple of these, you'd have extra rerolls. Now, I don't think you need Leia for this particular build, especially if you're using Task Force Organa. What Leia would give you for something like this is an extra die out the front plus a single reroll, which is not bad, because 1 reroll out of 3 dice at long range, or potentially actually 4 dice potentially, is if you're doing the concentrate fire, is not half bad. But I think we don't need Leia because we're gonna have the rerolls anyway. I still probably will run concentrate fire for quite a couple of turns here, because hey, that's pretty awesome. But we want to duplicate this, and so I'm going to duplicate this a bunch of times. So normally this is the most I could run, it's just 2 of them. And I love that Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder here has the duplicate function. I'm going to duplicate it 2 more times, right? If I happen to have 2 packs of Corvettes, so hey, once I get some more Spinal Armaments, I could do that. I could do that again. Like that's awesome. I mean, honestly, how many could you fit? I could do 6 of them. You could fit 6 of them in 1 bill, right? Like, that's insane. And then you still have room for, don't forget you have to put a commander in there, and maybe you want some squadrons, and we're kind of could I fit 7? Can't fit 7, at least not with this full particular configuration. Now, it's important to keep in mind that when using Task Force Organa, the first ship that goes kind of can't do everything. So that's an important thing to think about with this particular configuration. So I'm gonna drop down a little bit. I'm not gonna run quite this many. I'm gonna drop it down to what? I've got 4 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna change the 4th one because I'm actually gonna run 3 with Spinal Armament. I wanted this to be something like maybe you only have 1 Spinal Armament, maybe you get 2 in the pack, something like that. So we're gonna change up because I want to run 5 Hammerheads, which maybe not everybody has bought 3 Hammerhead expansions or whatever, and understand. You could always probably swap one out for a CR90 or something like that. You're going to get turbo laser reroute circuits also. Maybe I'll probably do another build with CR90s and TRC. I think that'd make for a whole separate, a whole nother Rebel Swarm video. Let me know in the comments section if you want to see, maybe a different type of Rebel Swarm video. But so we've got 1, 2, 3 that are going to have that. I'm going to drop a little bit off of these now, just because it's gonna get expensive. So I'm gonna keep Task Force Organa on all the rest, but on this other one, I think I'm gonna add quad battery turrets. It gives me a little bit of difference, and I'm gonna duplicate this 2 more times. That gives me 5 ships so far: 2 with quad battery turret and 3 with Spinal Armament gunnery team. All right, so those are the big, those are the ones kind of in the middle, right, or maybe even on the flanks, depending on what we're going up against, that need to have the widest availability to shoot the most number of targets. But it stands to reason maybe the guys on the end aren't going to have 2 ships in arc every turn, so maybe that's the ones that we put quad battery turrets on. Also, we probably want these guys on the flanks, because people who are going to try and get out of our arc are probably going to have to go pretty fast. And so if we're on the flanks, we're going to catch those guys as they try to run around us. They'll probably be moving a little bit faster. This way we can add that extra blue die. Also, that extra blue die is going to be really good for those ships where we really need an accuracy, because the blue die is twice the chance of a red die of getting an accuracy. So that much is also pretty cool. Now, the first one that shoots probably won't be able to get rerolls, because, again, the first one we don't want to trigger Task Force Organa. Now, we have another ship we're going to add. We got to add a flagship, and I didn't want any of the Hammerheads being a flagship. So I'm going to put a Pelta on here, and I'm going to go with a Pelta class assault ship. Have you guessed the commander yet? Let me know down in the comments if by this point, without skipping forward, if you've guessed which commander I'm going to go with, because the Pelta class assault ship might be a little bit of an indication. It's also a small ship. It's not super expensive. It also happens to have a brace and redirect, a decent number of shields. It makes for a pretty solid flagship when you're running small ships. I do like this particular ship. And here comes our commander. It's going to be Admiral Akbar. No, I'm kidding. It's not going to be Akbar. It's going to be Sato. Sato is going to be our commander. He's going to let us, when attacking at long range, make basically I can make 2 dice black, or whatever color I want, really. But yeah, I can add 2 black dice. I can add the blues if I really need them. It all depends. But yeah, Sato is going to be great for this list because we've got lots of red dice. We're adding them here. We got rerolls with Task Force Organa, and we got Gunnery Team. We can throw lots of black dice at long range, lots and lots of damage. The real weakness against something like this is going to be evades. However, we've got so many shots, you're going to run out of evades. We're going to exhaust those evades pretty quickly. And so the key is really making sure we have all of our stuff kind of moving in and trying to concentrate fire on the same targets. What we don't want is to go up against like 5 raiders and everybody takes a shot on different raiders and all the dice get canceled, and that kind of thing. We don't want that. All right. So on our Pelta assault ship, I'm going to run 2 upgrades because, hey, this ship can also throw those black dice at long range. And I want to have a shot at assault proton torpedoes. I want to be able to get an extra crit in. I mean, that's fun. It's fun to be able to do that. I'm gonna love that. And heck, even at close range, man, we can get 4 black. So there's some really cool stuff there. But I also want a little extra dice mitigation, and I want to intensify firepower here. So the first turn we'll do a concentrate fire command and get that token, kind of going. And then all of these dudes are gonna have lots of, they're gonna have some rerolls, but then they have also that intensify firepower, so once per attack they can just set 1 dice to a hit. So even if they reroll something it turns up blank, even if you need to fish for that double or something like that and you get a blank, no problem, you have insurance. And and that's why I love intensify firepower. Maybe one of my favorite upgrades in the whole game, especially in a larger fleet. We've got a lot of ships. We've got 6 ships here, 6 big shooty ships. Well, they're small ships, but they can pack a punch if they're pointed in the right direction. We do need to add some squadrons to make Sato work, and I am taking a risk here. This is a risky list, and so it's really, it's going to work great or it's going to fail tremendously. And in keeping with that tradition, we're going to go with 2 Ace A-Wings. We're going to go with Shara Bay, who is an absolute beast. She's got, she's a scatter ace, so that's huge. She's got counter. If you do shoot her, she's probably going to scatter. And also she's going to counter you with turning crits into adding damage as well. She's just so nasty. And then we'll also add Tycho, because Tycho, where is he? Tycho, he's in here somewhere. There he is. He can just move right out of it. So you can shoot, he doesn't counter as badly as Shara does. He still counters too, which is nice. But then he can just fly away. And so you kind of want to maybe place maybe pick your fight somewhere near the station. So if Tycho does take a damage, he can just be like, all right, well, let me move to the station and heal up. And then also the shots are obstructed to him. A big thing about this is you want to park your A-Wings, if possible, on an obstacle, like totally on an obstacle, so any shots coming after them are going to be obstructed. That will help prevent that kind of random one-shotting where somebody gets 2 accuracies and 4 damage. Or unlikely, but you never know. It's stranger things have happened. But yeah, so against the right build at least. That brings us up to 400 points exactly. And that is the list. So I think it's a fun list. But we have a big weakness, right? A big weakness is somebody getting behind your ships. That's definitely there. And that's the time where we'll need to do... and if it looks like they're going to do that, we'll probably have to do some nav commands to make sure we're turning. But if they can't get around you, that's amazing. Now, we got to pick some objectives to go with this list. Now, we've got 6 shooting ships, so I've got to go with opening salvo for this one. I think it's a really good one for this particular type of list. Opening salvo is going to make all of my ships have 2 extra dice, so I can add 2 more dice even on that first attack. And so that's good. Now, granted, it gives you 2 dice too, but yours kind of have to be red, and maybe you don't have as much good red stuff going on. But on top of that, also, A lot of times, maybe your first shot's going to be, like one of these guys could get one shot at anyway. But also, I've got the scatter in there, or I mean, the evade rather, to cancel like the one red double you might roll. So it's okay. It's fun. This is a fun list, and opening salvos a really fun objective. And we're gonna go with fire lanes, which lets us kind of pick where the battle's going to be. I love fire lanes. We've got a lot of dice here. A little bit risky, though, because we don't want to push our fleet too far forward too fast. We don't want to get past all of these beacons. Then we lose all of our dice that we could bring to bear on the markers. But the advantage we gain here so much is we can put them a little farther out this time. And we really know right where your opponent's going to be going. So you can actually, maybe this is one of those times where you don't even want to bring them all the way in, because maybe your opponent pulls them all the way down. But if that's the case, then you set everybody, you deploy everybody at speed 1, and in first turn you nav and just go down to speed 0 for a turn or 2 until they get close, and then just rake up all of those points. And that's a really nice thing. And in the interest of picking the engagement area, I'm going to go with Solar Corona as our third and final objective there. Solar Corona does let us go last totally, which is good because we can't really stall very much with squadrons, but also it we are going to see where our opponent is. We also have one of each, we don't have any duplicates on defense tokens either, so Solar Corona is going to help us in denying our opponent some use of accuracies. So that's the list, folks. That's all I've got for you today. Oh, gosh, it's been a little while since I've done an Armada build, but I'm really excited about what's coming out soon. This is going to be something that's going to be more possible now, so I'm hyped about that. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today. I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for sticking with me up to almost 40,000 subscribers at the time that this is coming out. We're just about there. We're getting very, very close. It's super exciting. Big thanks to my patrons as well. You guys are amazing and help make this all possible. So thank you all so much. And as always, have a great day.